In brief exercise 18-8, we're given some information on balance related to construction and process and other related accounts for a company who's involved in accounting for long-term construction contract. And so what we're told is they use the percentage of completion method. The contract is a $7 million contract, and we're given balances in some of their accounts at December 31st, 2014. Specifically, we're told that the construction and process account has a balance of $2,450,000. The accounts receivable account has a balance of $240,000, and the billings on construction and process has a balance of $1.4 million. It asks us to show how these accounts will be reported in the company's balance sheet at December 31st, 2014. So, I've got an excerpt of a hypothetical balance sheet for the company. Hypothetical in the sense that I stuck cash in there just for a placeholder so that the current asset section of the balance sheet looks familiar to you. Accounts receivable, we're told that the balance in accounts receivable is $240, so we got a line on the balance sheet that says accounts receivable $240. The real crux of the issue here is knowing how to handle the balance in this construction and process account that has the balance of debit of $2,450,000 and the balance in the billings on construction and process account that has a credit of $1.4 million. I know that the construction and process account has a debit balance because that is an asset account. That is akin to the inventory account for a company involved in long-term construction contracts. The billing on the construction and process account, that is a contra inventory account. Since it's a contra account, its normal balance is a credit balance. So I know the balance in that account is a credit balance. So what happens at each balance sheet date, when the company prepares their balance sheet, they take the construction and process account and the billing on the construction and process account, and they net the two together. If there's more debit in the construction and process account than there is credit in the billing on construction and process, then those two accounts are reported on the asset side of the balance sheet as a component of inventory for the construction contractor. And the net of those two is reported as job cost and recognized profit in excess of billings. So if you're using the financial statements of the company, you view that $1,050,000 as being their inventory balance. On the other hand, if the credit balance on the billings on construction and process exceeds the construction and process account, let's say hypothetically it were $3 million here. You wouldn't report negative inventory, you wouldn't report job cost and recognized profit in excess of billings. Instead, what you would do is go over to the liability section of the balance sheet. You'd have, your accounts payable, wages payable, etc. And then you would have a line item that says billings on construction in process in excess of job costs and recognized profit. And you'd have that $55,000 over there, and you would not report any inventory under the asset section of the balance sheet. And that's essentially what happens. You net the two accounts. If they net out to be a net debit, it's reported as a component of the inventory on the balance sheet. If it nets out to be a net credit, because the billings account is greater than the balance in the CIP account, then it's reported as a liability in the liability section of the balance sheet.